I will switch to English because our next speaker will provide contemporary comments about the policy and the prospect of change and the current problems in China. And I'm honored to invite Mr. Ming, the Economic and Commercial Counselor of the Embassy of the People's Republic of China. Mr. Hu, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm very happy to be invited by the University of Tel Aviv to give a speech on Chinese economy and bilateral economic cooperation. So now my the main contents is first the Chinese economy, second how can China make such achievements. The third is China still faces a lot of challenges. Fourth, how can China make a sustainable development of economy? So finally, I will brief some bilateral economic cooperation. So since the reform and opening up, China has maintained an average annual rate of 9.5%, consecutively growth for 30 years. Became the world's second largest economy. That's a miracle, actually, in the world. So now China's GDP rose by 7.8% in 2012, so reaching to US dollars 8.5 trillion US dollars. China is currently at the stage of the most prosperous period. So you can see this chart here, clearly. So China is also leading the world in several areas. Probably you know that China is world's largest manufacturing country, which are total manufacturing outputs of 2.9 trillion US dollars in 2012. The US comes as the second, with a total manufacturing outputs of 2.43 trillion dollars. That's why it's made in China everywhere. When you go to the shop, you find, oh, that is made in China, and then change another one, okay, that is another made in China. It's very hard to buy the goods in the not made in China. But actually, the innovation in China is our next target. Yeah. So the total foreign currency reserve of China reached the $3.31 trillion. That is number one in the world. So that means we have a lot of foreign currency. Yeah. We have a lot of money, yeah, of course, yeah. So another, so China's tourists have overtaken Germans as the world's biggest spending travelers, with a traveler spending of 102 billion US dollars in last year. Yeah, 83 million travelers went abroad last year. That figure is also number one. So I think everywhere you can find the Chinese people like to shopping. Just last week I met with a girl. It's about 25 years old. He bought 2 diamond earrings. Each one is 30,000 US dollars, totally 60,000 US dollars. He bought the diamond. I'm very surprised about. It's a young girls about so many, spend a lot of money here. Yeah. So that means Chinese is overseas, like to go overseas and like to buy some luxury, goods, especially in France, buy a lot of bags, LV bags. That is very, very, popular. Most of goods are sold to Chinese people. Yeah. It's estimated that China is going to become the largest oil importing country, and we are import 60% of its oil demand. That is also another important the figures. It's not good. Actually, it's not good for for Chinese. Yeah. So so how can China make such achievements? First of all, China has maintained the policy of open up. Putting the economy development at the first place. That's very important. 30 years ago, China is very, very poor. It's closed its door. So nobody, all Chinese don't know where is the real happiness in the world. Everybody think we are happiest people in the world. But when we open the door, we find, oh, United States and Japan and other countries very, is developed very fast. So we are surprised, and also we are catching up with, the open door policy. That is, China's the former leaders, Deng Xiaoping, is a very good contribution to Chinese people. The Chinese government has strengthened and improved macro control amid the complex and tough international economic situations, focusing on stabilizing growth, adjusting structure, promoting the reform, and benefiting people's livelihood, and positive achievements have been made. So second, China is consistently expanding the foreign trade and investment. So China has issued a series of double-tier consistent trade promotion policies and therefore maintain a stable growth of foreign trade. Import and export during 2012 reached $3.87 trillion, and this is a huge increase compared with the figures 5 years ago, which was $2.2 trillion. So now some Western media has already announced that in 2012, China is the largest export and import country in the world. That is another leading in the world. Yeah, that is only last year surpassed the United States as the #1 in the world. Yeah. So we are making an effort to further improve the investment environment, promoting the diversification of foreign investment utilization and optimizing the industrial structure and the regional distribution for foreign investment. And the utilized foreign investment in 2012 reached almost 110 billion US dollars. Yeah. So we encouraging the oil enterprise to go abroad, and the non-financial direct investment overseas reached the 77 billion US dollar in 2012, which an increase of 28.6%, being the fifth largest outwards investing country. For example, the last year a private firm, Wanda Group, bought AMC, the American cinema chain company, for 2.6 billion US dollars. Recently, the Chinese investors has sought to buy the two big Western companies, Smithfield Foods, the American pork producer. And actually, this acquisition will be approved by the United States government. Now it's waiting for approval finally. Yeah, maybe United States worry about the safety of food safety and refuse to prove it. Yeah. Another is Club Mediterranean, the French resort company, for totally cost about 8 billion US dollars. That is an example for major acquisition in recent years. The third, China is stable, expanding domestic consumption. One of prominent features of China's economy in 2012 was the fast growth of social commodity retail volume, which reached 3.4 trillion US dollar. This shows that domestic consumption contributed 51.8% to the whole economy of China. It also means that we have achieved a great success in developing the domestic market and lifting the life standard of the Chinese people in spite of slowdown in international trade. But I think, the China still faces a lot of challenges, of course. Although we talk a lot about Chinese success and opportunities, China still, face a lot of opportunities, challenges. First of all, the pollution is quite, heavy. So include air pollution, water pollution, and food pollution. When you visit Beijing, or especially we come from Beijing, so Beijing is now it's terrible. The weather is terrible. No more sky. When we have a holiday to Beijing, I want to go back to Israel. So that is a problem now. Now there's so many cars in the street in Beijing, about 6 million cars, and the emission, standards cannot meet the European standard. So in Israel it's Euro 5, but China is only Euro 2. Also, the petroleum is containing probably harmful materials. So that is a big problem for China now. It's everybody talking about the pollution. Second, the great imbalance still existing within China. Especially between eastern part and western part of China. Right now, there are still 130 million people living under the poverty line, so accounting for 10% of the whole population. So some areas people still very, very poor, especially in the western areas. The third, China's per capita still low. Which are about $6,000 US per capita GDP. In comparison with that of Israel, Israel is about $30,000. Now China is only ranked number 90 in capita GDP, similar to the position of Albania, which is poorest country in Europe. Yeah. Actually, China still have a long way to go. Yeah. So next, I want to talk how can China make a sustainable development of the economy. So first, technology innovation. China's the future economy has been significantly affected by the limited resources and severely constrained by the lack of external demand. So with that technology innovation, it's basically impossible to maintain a high rate of economic growth in the future. So that from this point, we must say that we will learn more from Israel. Israel have advanced technology and innovative spirit. So we will then try to learn more from Israel. Second, processing the urbanization and expanding the consumer demand. China population, that China population is 1.3 billion, so with half in urban areas, another half in the rural areas. So China is pushing ahead to move 250 million people from rural areas to the newly constructed town and cities by the 2025. That is a very, very big movement. So very big movement. That is 250 million from rural areas to city. So you can imagine how big for investment for everything. So that will make a great contribution to next decade of GDP growth. So China is a huge domestic market and consumer market potential is also large. If China's urbanization rate in the next 10 to 15 years increasing by 20%, the consumption can reach $6 trillion US. So furthermore, the degree of urbanization increasing by 1% each point will bring the annual investment demand by about $1 trillion US. So that is very important in China for next decade development. So you will pay great attention to this urbanization. Yeah. China's 12th 5-year plan made it clear that China should speed up process of urbanization. So government make a lot of policy and allocate a lot of budget for this movement. The new urbanization should be smart city. New city should be smart city with the integration of information technology and industrialization. Not just like another countryside city, but should be smart city. Yeah. So third, saving the resources and protecting the environment. China's position as a #1 manufacturing country is at the cost of excessive resources, consumption, and environmental pollution. So that is cannot be sustainable in the future. China's strategic task is to be built an resource-saving and environment-friendly society in the future, economic and social development. But I think it's a very, very, very tough task for Chinese, the people and Chinese government. So now we just take some time to focus on our bilateral economic cooperation. With our joint efforts, the Sino-economic relations is the best ever shape. With every frequent exchange at various level and ever expanding and deepening pragmatic cooperation in all fields. Now, please allow me to share with you my opinions in several issues. First, expanding the bilateral trade. Now in the past 20 years, economic and trade cooperation between China and Israel has seen dramatic development. China now is Israel's third largest trading partner globally, and the biggest trading partner in Asia. According to Chinese customs statistic, now it's two sides. Statistic is a little bit different. China is higher than Israeli statistic. Probably is export with the transportation fee or something like that. Yeah, it's different. We are higher. So last year is almost $10 billion, almost $10 billion. We export 7 billion. We import almost 3 billion from Israel. So we can see Israeli trade deficit with China. So several reasons might have caused the deficit, such as Israel's export control on high technology products to China, lack of awareness of Israeli products in China, etc. So that is probably the two main reasons. The deficit implies that there is a great potential to expanding export from Israel to China. So I recommend every businessman to go to China to promote your products to China, to Chinese people. China needs the high technology products and technology and also chemical products and diamond. Yeah, we want to import more from Israel. We want to balance the trade. Yeah. So now our two countries are interested to start the free trade areas agreement negotiation. Both sides have finished its feasibility study on the establishment of our FTA with a positive result. We can negotiate the further progress and promote the establishment of FTA at early time. With the hope of establishing our free trade areas in the future, the two-way trade will bring more benefits to our people in the year to come. So now our two governments is end the discussion of this agreement. Yeah. So the second issue, promoting the two-way investments. There's a greater prospect for the cooperation in investment between the two countries. China's companies are eager to invest here in the high technology industry with great market potential, such as clean technology, medical equipment, security, and water treatment. In 2011, the ChemiChina spent $2.4 billion in acquiring the 60% of shares of Maxima Gan, which was regarded by New York Times to be the world top 10 M&A the case. This made a leading healthcare company in the China, Fusion Pharmaceutical Group, spent about 220 million to acquire 95% of shareholding of Orman Lasers Limited in Israel. So we do hope more Chinese company come here to acquire more Israeli company, especially in the high technology areas. Yeah, we hope more and more Chinese enterprise can come to Israel to acquire the Israeli company, to set R&D center, and to use Israeli as a launch pad into the Europe. I also expect more Israeli business people can go to invest in China, not only in the eastern areas, but to some other areas, western areas, where the competition is quite in the East areas, competition is quite, fierce, but also in the Western part with less competition and a more favorable investment environment. So, last month, Prime Minister Netanyahu paid a very, very successful visit to China. Both countries reached extensive consensus in many areas. The two economies are highly complementary with broad common interests. With market potential and production capacity, China's naturally becomes the ideal, the partner for Israel. I am confident, thanks to great efforts by the two governments and active participation of business communities, bilateral economic and trade relations will be consistently strengthened and developed. So I'm consul of our Chinese embassy. Our office is located in Namia Road. If everybody want to, have something, don't hesitate to contact with us. We are willing to help you. Thank you very much. Toda rabba.
Thank you very much, Councillor Hu. Thank you for the very frank and honest discussion, and it's very interesting to follow your line of thought. We are committed in the faculty to promote the relationship. As you know, we host delegations from, we focus on Nanjing. China is so big. Nanjing is our specialty, and we also involved in the establishment of the China-Israel High-Tech Park in Nanjing, which we would like to see succeed in the frame of the free trade agreement. There'll be a lot of success, and I agree with you. There's a lot of complementarity, and the potential is there. With your understanding, I'll switch back to Hebrew. Okay. תודה לנציג המסחרי. אנחנו נעבור לפרק האחרון. את תציגי את משתתפי, זה חברי הפאנל. אז יש לי העונג הוא רב להזמין את איריס ארבל לפאנל, ואת תקחי אותנו משם. אוקיי, תודה.